so let's chat about being an entrepreneur in 2026 as a woman.
Mm,
I read, well, I actually didn't read because who reads these days? I try to read.
same.
I watched an entrepreneur say that being an entrepreneur in 2026 is like being punched in the gut every day.
That doesn't sound so wrong. So
And
it's
I was, yeah, I was like,
a
okay.
little aggressive, but yep, can relate. Can
But
relate.
it's there's something to that. And I just could never put it quite into words, but there's always something
Yeah,
that shows up on our door as entrepreneurs. And but first, before we get into the highs and the lows of it all, tell us a
yeah.
little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. You've done a little bit of everything. You have such an impressive background.
Thank you.
But
Thank
tell us about what you're up to these days.
Yeah, so my journey actually started over 10 years ago, which I think is like very important to mention and state because I think social media will make it look like, social like entrepreneurs just started and they're successful and so much has happened for them and like it looks all good, right? But I actually started my current business, Karité, over 10 years ago with my sisters. So we had this idea that we wanted to start a skincare line. My oldest sister is a dermatologist who practices in New Jersey, and she saw so many patients with dry skin ailments and eczema and things that they were suffering from sensitive skin. And we decided that we wanted to bring what we used as kids, shea butter, from Ghana, which is where our family's from. We wanted to bring that to market in a very luxurious and accessible way. And we had this idea concepted in like 2014. It took 2 years for us to get the packaging together, work with Find a Lab, figure out the supply chain, all of those nuances. And we all did that while working full-time jobs. I was working at the time at Google. I worked in the New York office. I got married. I worked in the New York office, moved to London, and sort of built this business as very much like a moonlighting weekend project. And
Yeah.
so I say that only to say that, like, it's a very much a long game and things take a long time to build, but everything happens in the time that it should. And I think it's important that entrepreneurs are very sort of open and honest about that. Because I think women in particular probably are intimidated to get started and to really get their thoughts and businesses out there because it looks like it's just so easy and successful. Everyone has success and it's so easy overnight. That's just not the case. I've been building this for a very long time. Um, and as I mentioned, it's a skincare business. We focus on body care and we really focus on making sure that everyone has the most hydrated, beautiful, glowing skin. It could be everyone from, women to your partners to your kids. My kids use it. I have two boys who are 8 and 4. They use the product every single day. They know how to moisturize themselves. I've taught them from day one.
Good
Uh,
mom. Good
yeah.
mom.
And so yeah, that's what I work on now. And it's been a journey. I've had a lot of highs and lows, but I wouldn't trade building a business for anything at this stage of my life.
So you talk about the time. No one talks about this. No
Right.
one tells you when you start a business, it will be 10 years.
Right.
It will be 10 years before you know it. I've been
Mhm.
working on Sam for three.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe it. That can feel scary,
Very
right?
much
Like
so.
that can feel like another reason not to do it.
Yep.
How do we get past that?
It's hard. I mean, I honestly have to I had to like mentally rewire myself
Hmm.
out of my corporate career because I worked in corporate for over 15 years at large companies with tons of resources and really smart people and meaty roles and all of that. And you kind of have sort of instant gratification a lot of times in corporate, right? get promoted, you get a salary bump, you get a performance review, sometimes on a quarterly basis telling you how great you are. Um, Entrepreneurship is not that way. You don't have any of the things. You don't have resources. You're not,
No.
a lot of times you're working in silo. Like I really praise solo entrepreneurs like yourselves, that, you're working by yourself. No one's giving you that gratification. You've rejections constantly. It's not easy. So I've had to really rewire and reframe my thinking that success is not going to be number one linear and it's not going to be overnight. And I have to tell myself that on an almost daily basis. So it's something I'm still working on. And just I encourage women and entrepreneurs to think this way, that it's a long game. Um, and the path is going to look different for everybody in every business.
And knowing where to start or how to start is really hard. It's not like we weren't given a class entrepreneurship in in high school, right? Like we don't
Right.
no one tells us like this is the first thing to do, and there's so many books and there's so many like course it just feels like overwhelming, and it's just you
Mhm.
have this idea, you want to do this thing, you don't know where to start. It's just
Right.
like another barrier.
Right.
And then the time, right? And so it feels like there's so much against us, and yet here we are, and we do it. And I want to talk about the highs of doing it. Something that I tell myself every day is that I don't always feel good, right? Like I think the perception of entrepreneurs, successful female entrepreneurs like us, the perception is they must work 12 hours a day every day, and they must always have this drive and this persistence and this discipline. And sometimes that is true. And then some days I just want to sit on the fucking couch.
Yep.
And I want to watch my shows,
Uh-huh.
and I want to have a glass of wine. And sometimes I do that, but it's very rare that I don't have a day where I'm not doing something for my business.
Hmm.
So that's where I tell women to start, is just with one small thing. Just
Yep.
you don't have to do it all. You're not going to
Yep.
figure it out. You're going to figure it out as you go, but you got to do one thing a day, and that compounds, and then here you are, right?
Yep. Yep.
Tell me about a high. What have been some highs that you've had in your journey over the last 10 years of building this beautiful brand?
Ooh, great question. There are many, but I would have to say, and speaking to the points of just getting started, I do think that I'm a big believer in manifestation and putting things out in the universe. And I do
Same.
think there's an element of speaking into existence the things that you want to happen, right? One of the exciting points and sort of pivots of our business is that we wanted to expand into hotels. We felt like our products were really good for amenities, specifically for spas. When you go to a spa, whether you get a massage with a body care product or want to buy something at retail, we thought we wanted to see our products there. We're like, this is an interesting expansion for us. And we just put it out in the ether, like hotels. That's going to be the thing.
Yeah.
And we had this awesome opportunity to present our products to the Four Seasons Hotels and Spas at their corporate conference last year. And we did that, and we were able to get two new accounts, and we're still working on building our list of, Four Seasons hotels. And I'm again speaking into the universe, and we're going to get many
That's
more.
it. That's
But
it. That's it.
I really think I think the putting your thoughts and your wishes out there, whether that's connecting with other people or searching through LinkedIn and seeing who might be a good connect to chat with about your idea. I think that one of the things that I love about owning my time in entrepreneurship is being able to just talk to people. And every time I talk to people, I get a new idea or a new thought of or a different way of thinking about my business. Um, and again, I think to getting started, a lot of it is just that is like saying what you want and maybe asking your connection point or your person to say, hey, who else can I talk to about this idea? And you'd be really surprised to see where that can go and what those conversations can lead to. So those have really been my highs of like speaking things out to existence and then seeing it actually happen is pretty amazing. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. It took us after that conference, I think it took us a solid 6 months to get our first purchase order from, a lead from that conference. But persistence and putting things out there really help drive things forward.
And a sheer sense of optimism. You don't always have to be optimistic, but
No,
you should try to err on the side of more optimism than not.
yes,
That can be hard, especially for women who might not have the experience in, they come from a corporate world, or maybe they're new to business altogether, and they might not know what that can look like, right? Or where to tap into to get that. But
right.
it's so important.
It really is. The glass half full is, again, I have days where that's not the case. To your point, I actually think, to your point about sitting on the couch and taking a minute, I actually think that's critical to entrepreneurship. I find that I need those days to recharge my like creativity batteries
Totally.
to move the business forward. Otherwise, I'm just burnt out and like just get stuck. So I think the optimism is critical, but I think it's very much okay to just take a minute. And I think we're lucky to, again, own our schedules and own our businesses that we can do that. We could choose to block the day and say, I just need a minute to recharge myself. So yeah, optimism plus, use your time wisely, as I would say.
That's right. And I also put out the word delusion. I
Yes,
am proudly
yes,
delusional.
so delusional.
I am so delusional. I think that every woman should get support.
Yes,
Call me crazy. I'm
it's not.
happy. I am
It's not.
happy for that title. I am happy for that delusion.
Yeah, I
But
remember that, in one of my pitch decks, I wrote that we want to be a household name in every household in the world or something. Like I think I put those words on paper and I'm like, why not?
why not?
Why not us, right? Like
Why,
I think our products are
why,
excellent.
why not us?
Right.
Why, why do we tell ourselves that it can't be us?
Correct.
Why? It's
Right.
not fair, right? I don't know where we got this, but it can be us, right? You can be the next Sarah Blakely, right?
Absolutely.
That can absolutely happen.
Yep.
Confidence. This is a big one.
Hmm.
You're not feeling super confident. You have an idea. You don't really know how to get it off the ground. How do you find that, right? Like how do you tap into that? It's not something inherently in midlife or in a woman's journey. We kind of lose a little bit of that. Sometimes we gain it, right? Depending, but when you're starting out, how do you give yourself a little bit of that boost?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because in corporate life, we have, they have a very well-oiled machine of sponsorships and mentors, right? A lot of the places I worked, this isn't everywhere, but most companies that I've worked in have a very structured process for matching up, early career women to a mentor or a sponsor internally, right? And you're on the hook to have meetings with them on a regular basis, et cetera. When you're an entrepreneur, that all goes out the window. You have nothing, right? Like it's on you as an entrepreneur to build up that base for yourself. Advisors, mentors, friends who can understand your journey and help prop you up. And I think this is exactly where Sam comes into play, right? I think having someone you could just vet your ideas or your thoughts against is paramount. And if you don't have that, I just feel you cannot be successful as an entrepreneur. Because again, oftentimes you're building by yourself, you're in your own thoughts, and you could just get derailed by not sharing out ideas and understanding the pitfalls and opportunities that come with those ideas. So I think that that's critical. I also will say just like getting out there. So I recently went to a conference in Miami. It's called Cosmoprof. It's for
Sure.
anyone in the consumer space knows about it. It's where a lot of brands go to show a new innovation, and then you have a lot of people in the space who just go to network. And it was so invigorating just to be there and talk about what we're doing as a business because you immediately get feedback, right? Like if people will say, "Oh my God, that's amazing. Actually, let's connect on next steps," or like, "Actually, that doesn't really work for us, but like you should talk to this person instead." So I
Totally.
do think also like the in real life, like the IRL of sharing your ideas again, and vetting them against people who are in the industry that you're looking to build in is really important to get like sort of real-time feedback and build your confidence that whatever you're working on can potentially work and has legs.
I found that, and this is well known in within the entrepreneur circles, but I found that the most support that I've received in this journey or on my journey with Sam has not been from those closest to me.
Mm.
Interestingly enough,
Hmm.
um, becoming an entrepreneur, maybe midlife or after a successful career in something, can feel destabilizing to the people in your life. The version of you that did this thing at this job or with these people for so long is kind of morphing into something else. And that makes people nervous, right? They
Yeah.
want to protect you, they want to see you successful and happy. There might be a little jealousy at play there too. They might be afraid of who they would be losing, right?
Hmm.
As you as with you as this older version of yourself who's now transforming. You've been lucky to work with your family,
Yeah.
right? So that's amazing, right? And not all entrepreneurs have that. But what have you seen in some of these dynamics with women and starting something new and how they can kind of manage some of these perceptions or responses they get from those who are closest to them? Because that can feel hard.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I just think there's like a funny meme out there that says like if you're not surrounded by the people who understand your vision, then you're not with the right people. There's like something like that that's like I saw recently. And I really feel very strongly about that. Like I almost want to say, and this might be harsh, is like, then those aren't your people. Like
Right,
I kind of feel like
right, right,
like,
right.
this journey is so hard that you have to surround yourself with people who understand what you're going through and are going to support you. I feel like there's no alternative. And I think that I also saw something, I'm like all about the memes these days, but like, you are the CEO of the relationships in your life and you have the ability to promote or demote them as needed. And it's not, again, it's not in a harsh way, but I do think that there's different people for different phases of your life. And this is one where you need to be like maniacally focused. And if you have people who are telling you, "Oh, I don't think that's a good idea," or like, why don't you come back to like this corporate job, or you don't hear from them, right? I just think that again, they're not your people. I think it's like super critical to like stay focused on, you know, chart the course of like what you're trying to build and then, have sort of a hub and spoke of people around you who are actively supporting your business on a daily. Um, and everything else is just noise. So I know it's a little harsh, but that's how I've managed my circle, and I think it's worked out quite well, and I continue to build it, right? And that's the thing too. It's not like a one-time thing. As you continue to grow the business and learn and sort of pivot the business in ways that are necessary, the circles tend will change, and it should change. It needs to be fluid.
Totally. And they will contract.
Yep.
Sometimes the circle will be small and sometimes it will be bigger.
Mhm.
Um, I think that this you come back to yourself, right? I mean, there's a lot of naysayers, there's a lot haters are gonna hate, sorry to say it, but it's true. There's a lot of people out there who might not see your success as a positive thing, and you just have to believe in yourself and that what you're doing is valuable, and all of that noise will go away. At least in my experience, it doesn't fully go away, but it
No.
gets dimmer, right? Is the more you do and the more you show and the more you build, that noise gets less.
Hmm.
Energy, energy too. It's like, how much energy can you give to your business if you have all of these other things in your life that are pulling from it?
Correct. That's a critical point. And actually, some of the reasons why I decided to focus on just this and growing my business and not consider going back to a corporate job because I knew that I had built Karité again as like a moonlighting weekend situation while I was in corporate. And it was hard. There were definitely some positive aspects. I was able to like make money to invest in my business, right? Like there are definitely things that I was able to do in parallel, but once you're in it and you're in your business, you realize that distractions are just going to derail your growth. And so I say distractions in a large sense of like, it's the people, it's other businesses, it's other opportunities. You have to be really sharp in saying no to things that don't serve you. And I think that's the only way you can really chart the course.
And it's different for women
Right.
because we
Exactly.
have this expectation that we mother,
Mm.
that we are responsible for other people's feelings or their
Oh,
perception
yeah.
or their experience. And we were taught this at a very young age, go
Yep.
get your uncle a cookie.
Hmm.
He can get his own fucking cookie, right?
Right.
I mean, but that's how we were taught. And I we have to break that. We
Yep.
have to break that down, and it's not something that's fair. Male entrepreneurs, at least the ones I've talked to, do not worry about the same things that we do.
So interesting. It's not, I mean, it's not surprising, but it's like, how lucky, you know?
How lucky, to make
Right.
really hard decisions as an entrepreneur. It's so gendered
Yeah.
because we do care deeply about people's feelings, about perception. Um, but those decisions, have to be made, and they are hard. Why is it, we know the answer to this, but
Right.
why is it so important to help and to support female entrepreneurs? Please tell us.
I mean, I think it's all the things. I think that yeah, women, we have a lot of things that we have to carry, right? Like and some of them are beautiful. Like I have kids, I have a husband, I have my households, like we're carrying a lot, right? And that's just like a fraction of the things I carry on a daily basis. Um, and I think that it's so critical to have one-on-one interactions with people who just understand whether you are a mother like me or you came from corporate career and you're trying to figure out how to like mentally shift or you just want to bounce ideas off of someone who understands white space and being creative, right? I think that it's so important. You cannot build in a silo. You can be a solo founder, but as you know, but you cannot build on your own. I don't think it will work. And if you don't have some support from other women who can help you think through nuance and help find clarity, I think you just can't be successful. And again, I think those structures very much exist in a corporate lens and a corporate world, and they don't really exist here. So I'm so grateful for what you're building with Sam because I think this is it's critical to success and mental clarity and sanity and all the things and health wise and all of the things. And um so yeah, we need each other and we're only going to be able to understand each other at this level. So very important to have this support.
We have a product on Sam, your entrepreneur era. And
Yes.
this is a 1 hour session where you can come in and talk about your idea and be met with not negative, naysaying, this can't
Right.
happen or that's crazy, but
Right.
with a woman who says, I see you, I believe in this idea, I believe in you,
Yep.
and let's do it. And I wish I had had that
Me
3 years
too.
ago.
That's literally why I'm on Sam because I'm like, we built this business and had basically we had no advisor. We had nothing. We just like figured it out. We're still figuring it out. Um, and I just think having the circle it's just going to be so amazing for people. I'm excited to offer like a judgment-free zone for people who want to just come and chat and learn about my journey and most importantly, help them find clarity in their journeys. So, um, I think it's awesome.
There's a lot of bad advice out there, I'll tell you that. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
there's so many ways that you could go with trying to figure out what to do. And I think the main takeaway I have for this session and working with you is that you haven't just built a business, you've built a brand,
Oh, thank
and
you.
those are very different things.
Mm.
So if you want to build a brand, you got to book the session.
Oh, thank you.
That's my,
You found clarity for me today. I mean, it's like this
you
is just
have.
who I am, but yes, it's come from a lot of just be having done this work, right? Like I've been building this business for a long time. Um, I've done a lot of inner work to get to this stage personally. And so I'm excited to help other people to do the same. And I'm already doing this very informally in my life. People come to me with a lot of questions around how to start, how to think about things. So making it formal is just super exciting for me.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on with me
Thank
today
you
and
for having
chatting through
me.
this. I felt like it was a little bit like a therapy
It was
session.
so fun. It was great. I mean, we get each other because we're women entrepreneurs.